Alright guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you how you can find your perfect sensitivity slash sensitivity range, because really perfect sensitivity doesn't actually exist. It's perfect sensitivity. What that means is just a sensitivity that feels like really good for you. And I think that's kind of what people mean whenever they say perfect sensitivity. So that's what this video is going to help you kind of find. So to start, we really need a baseline sensitivity. If you already have a sensitivity that you kind of like, but you aren't sure if it's your perfect sense, then you can go with that. But if you aren't sure, a sensitivity between like 0.25 and 0.4 is completely fine. I know that's a really big range, but if you feel like you like lower sense, maybe somewhere closer to like 0.3, but if you like a higher sense, maybe closer to 0.4. Above 0.4 gets like very high, so I wouldn't suggest going that high unless you know you want like a high sense. There's not many people that play above 0.4, I don't think. I mean, there are, but like, you know, most people prefer lower senses. I prefer 0.4 as of lately, and as of like the past as well. I tried lower sense for a while, and I just came back to this. So basically, guys, what you're gonna want to do is just kind of pick a sense. If it really feels like off to you, then try to find another one. And then once you find your baseline sense, it's all just gonna be like tweaking from there. It's all gonna be like changing your sense, figuring out what you want. But again, changing your sense can be bad. We only want to change our sensitivity by like a little bit. So say our starting sensitivity or our baseline sensitivity is 0.4. We're only gonna want to change it by 0.01. So either like this, we go to from 0.4 to 0.41 if we want to go up, if it feels like it's too low. If we feel like it's too high, we go to 0.39 because we go down by 0.01. You don't want to change it. So if I'm 0.4, what you do not want to do is go, okay, this sensitivity is too high. Let me go back down. That's way too much. That's way too much of a change. You only want to change it slightly, incrementally change your sense, because that's going to allow you to not like completely lose your muscle memory and like completely be out of touch with your aim. Because if you do that, it's gonna make aiming much harder. I can tell you from experience, if you change it by more than like a couple hundredths of a decimal place, it's gonna like really hurt your ability to aim. So anyways, once we get to this baseline, which is 0.4, what we're gonna want to do is come to the range here and basically just try to flick onto some bots' heads. We can shoot as well, it doesn't really matter. And if we're flicking onto the bots perfectly, then you've found your sense, right? But obviously, most of you are probably not going to be flicking onto their heads perfectly. I don't do that either, don't worry. And so if you're, basically what we're looking for here is if you flick to the right, if you're flicking, you want to start in the middle here, and then if you flick to a bot, and then you notice yourself flicking really too far to the right here, then that means this is called an over flick, which means you're flicking over this guy, which you're aiming for. So this means that your sensitivity, if you're seeing this a lot, it means your sensitivity might be too high. And in that case, you'd lower it to 0.39, right? Because we only want to decrement by 0.01. If we start in the middle here and we're aiming for this guy, let me get that guy to move out of the way. If we're aiming for this guy, and then we go like this, and we're under flicking. This is whenever you flick under where you're trying to flick. So you can see I'm trying to flick to his head, but I'm too short. Then this might mean you should raise your sense. Might. Keyword being might, right? Because eventually you want to get to a point where you stop changing your sense. I haven't changed my sense in many days, and I don't plan on changing it in a long time, and you shouldn't either once you find a good sensitivity. Our goal here is not to constantly change our sensitivity every day. It is simply to find a sense that we can work with, and you know, kind of just be consistent on. So you see here, I'm gonna do this, see how well I flick. My sense, sometimes I overflick more than I would like, but I like it because I can turn really nicely. So and then sometimes you're always gonna under and over flick. I mean, unless you're like an absolute god, but even like pros will, you know, miss shots some of the time. You know, I'm going for very large flicks here as well. So, but yeah. I don't know, I tend to like flick over and then come back a lot, which means my sense might be a little bit too high, but I'm not planning on changing mine. Anyways, I want to keep this video kind of short. I think you guys get the gist of the idea here is just find a baseline sense. It can be any value. Obviously, don't make it extremely low or extremely high. Try to keep it within the range of like 0.25 to 0.4. And from that starting sensitivity, you want to just come into the range. You can shoot these bots in any way. You can use eliminate, you can do speed, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you're tracking how much you're under or overshooting. So if I'm over flicking like this, or if I'm under flicking like this, trying to hit this guy, under flicking, I don't know how I just killed that second guy there. If I'm under flicking, then, you know, you want to lower it. If you're over flicking, you want to raise it. So that's basically the gist of this. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.